it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today we are doing a bake date video. I would just like to say before we start, however, just to apologise on the video because I have said and explained on my social media, but you may not follow me on my social media, just to apologise for the disruption to my video sort of schedule at the moment. I am working on something. It's not a craft project in itself, although it is connected to my craft. It's kind of a surprise in that I don't want to tell you what it is. I'm hoping you'll be really excited about it. I mean, obviously in some ways you don't know what it is, but it's sort of really more for me, but it will indirectly affect you guys. But I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give it away. But I will be showing all of it when it's all done and everything's back to normal. I will do a video explaining everything and exactly what's been going on, but I just wanted to apologise on camera, so in case you don't follow me on social media, you know what's going on and that it is just a temporary interruption, and normal service will resume shortly, I hope. Okay, so let's get on with today's bake date, and we are doing some yummy chocolate chip cookies. Really easy recipe, so let's get cooking. So we're starting out with 12 ounces of self-raising flour. Now you can half this recipe if you want. The actual recipe that I'm following from this is a Mary Berry one, and it is actually half quantity of this, so I've actually doubled the mixture, but I find it works, and if I'm making these cookies I would rather make a whole big batch of them than fiddle around. And then we've got 7 ounces of Castor Sugar, 6 ounces of butter, and then 2 large eggs. That was really badly cracked. Like so. I must say, excuse me for my horrific nails with everything that I've been doing at the moment, which, as I said, is a bit of a surprise, but they are getting wrecked. So apologies for looking like a scruffy person. Okay, so now we're going to get a mix. I just use one of these hand mixers. It's perfectly good enough for what we're doing here. And then just dunk it straight in the butter so that we get the butter broken up. And then just making sure that it starts to mix. So start off on slow and then gradually speed it up, making sure that all the flour gets mixed in, because it sort of ends up down the bottom and the sides. There we go. You'll still see a little bit in there, and then speed it up. And then we're just really now beating it so that we're creaming that butter. You don't want to go like forever, you just want a couple of minutes until you start to see the mixture go a little bit paler, a little bit creamier, and everything's mixed in. But if you go for too long you can overbeat it. And I think that's more than enough. As I say, you don't want to go too mad because it just makes it kind of heavy and it loses that mixture out of there. Now you can bang these on the side of the glass, but I always think it's an awful noise and you can just see it breaking the glass. Okay, then just going to get my spatula here just to make sure everything all off the sides and is mixed in. And now I've got 2 packs of chocolate chip cookies. No, they're not chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chips. They're not cookies yet. And these are 100 grams each, because what you could do, and the recipe calls for, is 100 grams, well, it's I know I've done ounces and then grams, but it kind of works better on the, because it just fits perfectly to the bags, but it's about, I think it's about 3.5 ounces for the 100 grams, something like that. I'll put the actual details of the conversion, because I know I've kind of done ounces here and then grams, but anyway, I'll put it in the blog post for you. So if you're on YouTube, click the link below, it will take you to the blog post, and that'll have the recipe written out for you. So I'll put the conversion down. But as I say, the recipe that I got this from said 100 grams of the chocolate chips and then 100 grams of chopped nuts, but I didn't want to use the nuts, so I've doubled that and done, so that works out really nicely, and I think personally the more chocolate the better. So then just, you don't need to measure it. Now I've used milk chocolate, but in the past I've done dark chocolate. I've also done one milk, one white, one dark, one white, so you can mix it up if you want, but on this occasion we're doing it all over the floor. We're doing just milk chocolate, and then just twist and mix. I wouldn't use your mixer on this now, because if you do, I think I'll end up chopping your chocolate chips into little pieces, which is not ideal. So we'll pop that to one side. Now you want a baking tray, and you want to line it with baking parchment. If you're using baking parchment, then grease it with some butter, just a bit of cloth and a bit of butter. But I've got one of these baking sort of sheet things. These are what we use in crafting as a heat sheet. It's the same thing, and I've just bought one of these. I actually bought the baking one just in case it was slightly different, but I'm pretty convinced it isn't. And then I just cut it to size. But the beauty of this, particularly when you're doing the biscuits, is you need to put your biscuits on, you cook them, you take them off, then you do the next lot. If you're using parchment, you're going to have to keep re-greasing, and after a few batches probably change your parchment. With this, you don't need to do anything. You literally just remove them, move on, because you don't grease this, you don't need to. So it's perfect. Now we've got this, we are going to just get a little teaspoon. We don't have to be precise with that, just a normal one, and then just making sure that it's mixed in, because when you first start it's risky that you end up getting more mixture than chocolate chips. And then you literally just want a heaped teaspoon, not much more than that, and then pop it down. So don't need to be too particular. Oh, at this point you probably want to preheat your oven to 180 centigrade. I don't know the conversion for that, I'm afraid. Okay, so then we just want to even these up a little bit with the spacing, and that's the other beauty of this parchment stuff, is that you can move things around. So then all you want to do with your clean fingers, obviously, I clean as in not sticky ones that you've been touching the mixture with, just kind of circle it off a bit and just flatten the top. You don't need to be particularly fussy, but the other good thing about doing this is it gives you a rough idea by touching that you have got them reasonably even. So like that one, a bit big, and you can feel that when you touch it. You can think, that's a bit too much mixture compared to the others. Okay, so you've got 8 little biscuits, and we're going to pop those in the oven, and we're going to cook those for about 20 minutes. They will start to spread and sort of slightly puff, and then they will go sort of pale golden with just like a little dark golden edge round to them. It's at that point that you want to take them out. You don't want to wait till they get like biscuit brown, because that's too much. They tend to, as they cool, they tend to almost get browner looking, and then if you've cooked them to the point where they sort of look like, they should look like biscuit colour, that's usually too much because they're getting too brown as they cool off. They cool pretty quickly, but I'll show you when I bring them out so you can see the kind of colour that they need to be, and then we'll do the next tray. Okay, so I'm just going to cook these. I'll be back in a second and I'll show you them. Okay, so here they are, and they look yummy, and you can see that we've just got a pale golden edge. They're quite delicately coloured at the moment. They're also quite soft. Can you see? They're still soft, but as soon as they cool or start to cool, they will harden off, so it's best to get them off the tray immediately. So just pop them onto the wire rack here to cool off. Now, the trick that I was telling you about that you need to do before you put the next batch on the tray is you want to cool the tray down. You don't want to put the mixture onto a hot tray. Now, I don't have the patience to wait for it to cool down naturally, so all I do is just lift this up, which is easier said than done because it's hot. There we go. And then I just run it under a cold tap and then pop that back on. If you're using parchment, then you may need to put new parchment on, just see how it looks. You certainly would need to re-grease it with butter. So then once that's cool, and if there's any little bits like this, you might want to just wash these off as well if you've got this kind of base on it, so just get rid of any crumbs. Once that's all cool and ready to go, then just put it down and put some more mixture on as before, pop it in the oven. Just bear in mind that it will now cook quicker because the oven is already hot. So this took about 15 minutes to do these ones, so these will probably take about 12 minutes. So just keep an eye on them. If you are doing more than one batch, so you're layering in the oven sort of one above the other, be aware that the top layer will cook faster than the bottom layer. Once these are all cooked, I will come back to you and show you the finished biscuits. Okay, so this is the last batch just out of the oven, and we've managed to make 35 cookies out of that, so you can get around 40 depending on the size that you make them. So I think that they look absolutely delicious, and they really do taste yummy too. So I hope you've enjoyed this month's bake date, and I hope if you make these that you enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.